have we officially started here?
I don't know. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me do the thing.
Yeah, we should.
The secrets are out.
Yeah, everybody knows now. All right, hold on. Let's start, everybody.
The following is a presentation of Stewed Productions.
You were right. I should have hit that record button earlier because then it would have been I would have gotten that whole clip.
I got it all.
Oh.
But
I recorded it.
Yeah, but the podcast people podcast this as
I think
well.
they're gonna be really missing out on some
A little, like the first
sage discussion there.
Yeah, no, that was good. That's why you want to listen live. Hey, everybody, welcome to Liquid Lunch. Everybody, whichever camera's the wide one shot.
Yeah, we're on the wide. We're on the wide.
Okay,
right there.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Yes, thank you, Jose. Jose, listening. We have an audio-only live feed as well there on Mixler. Jose, that's where he listens. So if you're driving around and you have low bandwidth, or not that you're a low bandwidth guy. Just saying.
I wouldn't say that.
No, I wouldn't say that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm specifically saying that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you have low bandwidth and you want to listen while you're driving around or running on the beach or something, you can do that on Mixler. Or just go to our website and click that link. But anyway, welcome to Liquid Lunch. It is Thursday. It is noon. Texas is live midday craft beer show. And you're welcome, Jose. Alex McDonald is with us here at Astral Brewing in Houston, Texas, here off of Shepherd in the... wait, what did you say? The shade?
Oh, man.
Dude. Garden Oaks. All these little neighborhoods.
How many times do I have to go over this?
Shepherd Park's like over there. There's like candlestick or something over there.
Yeah. Something
over there.
But anyway, here in the heart of Houston.
Yes.
Yeah. Just north of the heart.
In my neighborhood, I might add.
Yeah. That's why we got selected for the show, is because we were geographically the most convenient.
Yes.
Sure. That's not true at all.
Well, also your internet's really robust.
So strong internet and geographic location.
And willing to just let us come in here on a Thursday.
And you were one of the few to respond to me.
Yeah, exactly. So didn't know to say no.
Alex, how are things?
They're doing well, yeah.
If you have not been to Astral, and if you have not listened to his episode of Interbrews, which was way back in...
early when we first opened.
Yeah, it was just, let's see, you're going to hit a year in March, right?
March 7th, yeah.
Yeah, so it's coming up.
Yeah, our anniversary is March 7th, so come by the brewery.
Yeah, we're, what is today? Today is it's
about
a month away.
Yeah, about a month. So we're 11 out of 12 months.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
how does that feel? A year.
Almost a year.
That's crazy.
We're still, the lights are still on, so that's good.
Yeah, it's still working. Yeah. But go back and listen to his episode of Interbrews, was episode 218-ish or something.
Just say a number. No one's going to know the difference.
They're going to know. Just Google Astral Brewing on Interbrews, and it'll pop up. Anywhere you like to listen to podcasts. And that was a fun conversation. Now we're going to have more fun conversation. Yeah. And your dog's name? Sammy?
I got Sammy. You can't. She's off camera. Maybe she'd be on the
sort of. You can kind of see her at the bottom there.
Oh, okay.
Well, not now, but when she was under. You can see her. You can see.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, when she was under the table. There you go.
Yeah, these are under the table dealings.
Yeah.
All the
brew dog. She's the brew dog.
We got a brew dog here. That's awesome.
What type of dog is Sammy?
She's a rescue. That is her breed.
Okay, I've got a couple of those.
Yeah.
Not exactly show dogs, but
she's got, she's really good. We rescued her in June, so she's we think she's 4 years old, but that's an estimate.
Yeah.
But she's a good dog. She's a little skittish, but she's kind of warming up to you guys. Now you've been here for a few minutes. At first, she was like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Now my dogs they're two rescue dogs. They're kind of the same way.
But no, she's really friendly. Just you have to give her time.
When you think about it, it's smarter.
Yeah, no, it's right, because random people come to this building and who does she know that they're good or bad? She doesn't bark too much at them, but she's just I don't really know. I don't trust you.
Yeah. So smart dog. That's what you get when you've been on the streets a little bit. Like my dog, they found him in a ditch.
Oh.
But now he went from the ditch to having his own sofa, basically.
Yeah, it's upgrade.
Yeah, pretty good.
I haven't seen your sofa, but I'm gonna assume
it's
it's
nice.
He used to have a name.
Oh. Yeah, well, yeah.
Can I say it?
Yeah, Daryl the Ditch Dog.
Daryl the Ditch Dog.
They put that name on him.
I thought the sofa used to have a name, and I knew.
But the more Bosco sits on it, the closer he gets to needing a name, because he kind of messes that up. But whatever. And we got them Bella. We always forget Bella. She was our first rescue, so we have them both. But anyway, enough about the dogs.
You start petting Bella.
Yeah,
immediately she goes to her back.
This is the dog podcast I signed up for, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
liquid.
Better the dog.
Liquid hot dogs. You put the hot dogs in the blender.
Yes.
And then you drink them for lunch. That's what I signed up for.
I think mustard rim glass.
Well, I think hot dogs start off in liquid form anyway.
Well, yeah, they're congealed. They molten meat product, and then they congeal it.
That's what I always imagined, like McRib. Like this long conveyor, these molds that look like rib, and they pour this pink goo.
I imagine there were very smart scientists that were involved in like the production of that product.
We've cracked the code of McRib.
Yeah, exactly. This looks like this rubber material. This looks like meat, and we can sell it like meat.
And you can actually eat it. It doesn't break down in your system, but they'll never know.
Yeah. By
By the time they've ingested it, it's too late, and we've made our money.
Yeah.
But no McRibs here. I don't think, right? You don't have like a...
Not today, no.
Okay. Like a McRib truck. I wonder if that would be if a food truck just doing like McRibs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a rib sandwich. Like rib meat sandwiches are awesome.
Well, yeah, we do have like sometimes you get a barbecue truck that comes by and they do like a real ribs. So, not McRibs. But
They do I'm not sure what night it is, but they do a steak night here.
Yeah, on Thursdays we have
Thursday.
Like kind of we do trivia and we do steak night and stuff like that.
So tonight, after you guys get done watching the episode here.
Yeah, right after this episode. No.
Yeah,
Well,
give
4 o'clock.
Give it a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Well, here.
they usually roll around like 5 o'clock, like dinner time kind of thing, and they set up steaks and stuff like that. It's pretty tasty.
And then while you're eating your steak, you could do trivia night.
Yeah. Like that.
My team almost won a few weeks back.
I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Almost.
That's almost.
Well, we were winning up into the last round, and then we just kind of dropped the
Who
mic.
was on your
mic
team?
and left. It was me, Jules, and producer Perry.
Oh, what question did y'all get wrong?
We got a lot of questions wrong.
What?
The- what actually brought us up, because there was a lot of smart people here that night, but it's once they get to like the current stuff, like current music,
Yeah, no.
like I completely lost, and it was during that round that we jumped ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'd be lost in modern like pop music and that sort of thing. I don't.
Yeah, I can't. The music rounds. I need to partner with someone who knows like the pop culture stuff because I can kind of do like the useless history stuff,
Yes.
and the geography,
Yeah,
and the
that's-
sance, but I can't do any of the
Pro wrestling.
Like they'll play
classic pro wrestling
songs
stuff,
from the '80s that everyone knows, but I'm just like, I don't know. I think I've heard in the advertisement before.
Yeah. Speaking of smart, Alex.
Yes,
Did
yes.
you, not you. Did
Oh.
you know that Alex has a PhD and specialized in cracking the code of the mad cow?
Yeah, no, my PhD in biochemistry studying prion protein, which is what
For the
causes
mad cow disease?
mad cow disease is caused by the prion protein. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
I think we mentioned this. I think we talked about it
We
last
did.
time.
We went
I
in
did
depth.
not know
We
that.
don't have to go in depth,
Yeah,
but we went
again, this
pretty
isn't
deep mad
a
cow.
mad cow podcast, but you know, if you want to make it mad cow disease podcast, I can turn it into one.
What
real
about
quick.
the coronavirus? That seems to be all the rage. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, that's a virus. I studied so you have bacteria which cause infections,
Right.
Like, you know, like you get those are little cells that kind of grow inside of you, and then you have like a simpler thing. You have a virus. A virus is sort of like an assemblage, so to speak, of DNA and proteins that sort of has like a minimum set of instructions to kind of replicate itself. So it's like simpler than a cell. It's just like a little packaged little protein kind of ball with some DNA in it and some proteins that can then reproduce it. And then you have the prion protein, which is just one protein, and what it really does is it templates other sort of normally folded versions of it into a so it's like a very simple informational thing, but they can't kind of go backwards for entropy kind of reasons, energy reasons.
Right.
So you have to have the host make the protein for you, whereas the virus can kind of go in and reproduce itself. So the coronavirus is sort of in between the very simple protein thing, which is not very infectious, and the bacterial thing. And so the coronavirus is it's kind of a reassemblage of we see these kind of coronaviruses all the time, but this is a new variant of it that's a little bit more infectious.
Yeah.
Toxic, so.
Right.
So to bring this in
To beer,
Yeah, to
We're definitely
beer.
talking about beer. Yeah.
to beer,
I'm happy to talk about biochemistry.
I know beer can get a bacteria infection.
Yeah,
Can it get a viral infection?
not so much. Well, you could have the yeast inside of the beer could be infected by a virus, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a lot of times species have like kind of viruses almost just like stably existing within them that don't. Like, don't kill the host, but they just kind of exist at a low level. And I don't know my yeast biology to know if there are kind of these low level kind of viruses that just kind of exist, but they not symbiotically, but just not enough to kill the yeast.
Yeah.
Doubt it, but it's always possible. But that's a lot of like organelles and other things, and cells started as like other little pieces of biology kind of infected it, and then it kind of became just kind of permanent parts of that. So. Yeah, but you could have an infected virus in there theoretically that you could get kind of kill off all your yeast. That wouldn't be so good.
Yeah.
So you have to be
But
careful and stuff like
you
that.
couldn't get like beer flu.
No, because the thing is, what's growing in the beer is yeast, and so the virus would have to have all the machinery to infect a yeast cell. But you are a human and have a completely different set of like receptors and other things that would have to use to invade the cells. They have to exploit some trap. Also, yeast have cell walls, which make things really hard for viruses to get in. We just have kind of squishy cells, and they have a nice little casing around there to keep those viruses out.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But you definitely get a bacteria infection. So a bacteria infection and a fungal infection are more likely because those don't require like a host. Those can kind of exist by themselves. They just need kind of nutrients. So a beer that's spoiled or something like that. Sometimes you get these beers that gone sour. Well, what's causing them to go sour is bacteria typically, and so like lactobacillus, we hear a lot about pediococcus, and so they don't, need the yeast per se. They just need like the sugars and other like amino acids and things like that in the cells. And so as long as they have that kind of soup, they could just kind of be a broth. Yeah. They could grow. And same thing with the fungus. You kind of get a fungal infection. I mean, technically yeast is in that kind of category.
Like Kennedy's feet.
Yeah, I wouldn't stick your feet in the beer.
Yeah, like my feet, or like the time I tried to brew a Goza.
Yeah,
It tasted like feet.
Yeah,
sweaty feet.
Yeah, and Cheetos.
Yeah, so if you get a beer and it has a weird, it's called a pellicle. Have you ever seen the pellicles on top of, they're fermenting, they kind of have this like, your carboy has this kind of film, maybe it kind of looks almost like bubbles that are just like have like a fuzzy film, like the kind of like a bubble that doesn't pop, it just kind of stays there. Yeah. That's kind of byproducts of these either bacterial or yeast infections, stuff like that. So you can kind of see the infections, and if it looks like, Brettanomyces, that's a type of yeast that kind of makes a nice pellicle. Some of them look really bad. They look like I wouldn't want to drink that, and that's usually like an infection that's like some other species that you just want to dump that batch real quick.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds awesome.
So be sanitary when you brew.
Yeah, it all comes back to that, right?
Yeah. This is the problem if you don't. It's why you actually have to boil your beer. You're trying to kill off all like if you don't boil your beer, like the stuff you get from the mash is all the tons of lactobacillus and other things just fell in from the air and stuff like that. It would just be for the most part a big disaster. Yeah. Unless you're some sort of cool ship where you're just going to really rely on things. We usually want to boil off stuff and then let in a controlled. You want to kind of controlled infection. So beer is sort of effectively a controlled infection of sweet wort, sugar water.
Which is why back in the day beer was safer than water.
Yeah, it was like pre-infected. So you kind of pre-infected it with this stuff doesn't kill you, and then it wouldn't get. You've used up the nutrients, you've lowered the pH, you sort of made it inhospitable for other types of things that are, certain things need oxygen or they need, certain pHs and stuff like that. The yeast have sort of made it inhospitable, and now it's safe to drink and gets you drunk, but that's just a byproduct.
Yes. Back to trivia.
Sure.
Producer Perry wanted to correct the record. He said that y'all were winning, but he had to leave to pick up his mom because he's a responsible son.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said you were winning, but then you lost.
No, we were winning going into the last round.
But then
we didn't get to compete in the last round because we had to go.
I don't think that's what you exactly said.
Okay,
I don't know. I'll let y'all.
That's
work
what
that
I
out.
meant.
Anyway,
they got the questions wrong because they didn't answer them.
Right, that happens.
Yeah, we just
that was my whole last semester of college that I attended.
Yeah.
And resulted in a 0.4 GPA.
I feel like we would have won
when you just don't
stuck
go.
around.
Yeah.
You get an A in rugby because you go to that.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
It's cheaper just to not do anything and not go to college.
I know, right? Yeah, that's what should have happened. But anyway.
Hey, you're kids, you learn.
Right.
And then you grow up and you have your own kids, and then they do the same stupid stuff. And
I know.
You're like, oh, if you only had listened.
Right. We're not quite there yet with my kids, but we'll eventually they'll be, following the footsteps.
And then you'll just like shaking your fist. You're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Josh is lucky. 3 girls, 3 weddings.
Oh,
3 college tuitions.
Yeah, well, hey, you do it. That's why I have this show to bring in all the income to pay for all that.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, so we should talk about before we drink it all.
Oh, did you have a question?
Yes, it's time once again for your favorite segment and mine here on Liquid Lunch. This is do the sound effect.
What you drink?
No, the sound effect.
What?
Good. What you drinking? Boom.
You need like a little soundboard you can
we do, but I don't have that one programmed in.
We have it in the
I do too. You know what? Can we do that again? We do. Can we? You ready?
Yeah, we can
rehash that because I can totally
do
that. I didn't even realize I have this here. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
Hey, what time is it?
This has been another
Oh
installment.
no, wait, that's the end. Do this one.
It's time for your favorite segment and mine here on Liquid Lunch. This is
What you drinking?
Yeah, that's way better than what we did the first time.
Yeah, that's production value there.
Yes.
This is a professional
exactly.
live stream.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So what are we drinking? I'm drinking the Pub GB.
Uh-huh.
It says English Pale Ale.
English Golden Ale.
Golden Ale.
Someone wrote pale. Well, look, it's a.
Stay pointed towards the camera over there.
There you are.
Yeah.
I went low ABV, but big on flavor.
Yeah, so it's a malty kind of British pub ale. It's sort of closest relative would be the British Golden Ale, but it's not. I don't think if you went to England and ordered a British Golden Ale, you get exactly that. But it's basically low, like 4.1% ABV, but it still has like Maris Otter and some other some English crystal malt and I think a dash of brown malt in there, even just give like a teensy bit of roast in there.
Yeah. But
still at 4%, so not too much that's overbearing. Doesn't come like an ESB.
Yeah.
Very low, like light and approachable, yet still malty.
Yeah, it's like if I was thinking, like I just had a mild the other day over at New Magnolia.
Yeah.
And delicious beer, low ABV again.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you can get big flavor out of a lower ABV beer that just
This is in that mild category. I would say in that family, but a little different. But
yeah, I got my DNA test back from 23andMe
And you are the father
of a beer belly for sure.
Yeah.
They I don't know. I don't know if you can tell by looking at me. Turns out a lot of English and Irish here.
okay,
Didn't know if you could tell.
A little bit, yeah.
And maybe it's why I enjoy the pale ales so much.
Yeah, because your skin.
Because I'm
tone-
so yes.
Yeah, I did one of those last year.
Yeah.
I'm about as white as you can get.
Yeah, me too.
It's all English,
Were
Scottish.
you not sure if you were really
I-
white?
I wa- I
and
was-
then you
I was
did the
pretty sure.
Test, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh no, I guess
Well,
I
I
am.
did. I mean, literally, there is nothing non-white mixed in there.
Yeah,
It's all
Well,
Northwestern European, German, English, Scottish, and a little bit of Scandinavian.
yeah, it's like literally what I am.
Yeah.
I haven't done the 23andMe, but my brother has, and assuming my parents are faithful, then that's probably reliable.
I was kind of hoping something crazy would be
Yeah,
in there.
It's like, wait a minute,
There was
you're-
nothing.
No, yeah.
There was
okay.
like 0.7% unidentifiable, and it looked like a pretty fair amount of Neanderthal, which I'm surprised.
I think
not-
everyone's a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, that's sort of like if you have Northern European,
Yeah.
like people like ethnic group, you're most likely to have some Neanderthal because there was some interbreeding in there way back in the day.
Yeah, I figured I was around 50%, but
Yeah.
not quite. But
Almost.
Yeah.
You're
My
right.
wife would say 100% sometimes,
100%.
but I don't know. Anyway, Kennedy,
Yes.
what are you drinking?
Funny you should ask.
Is it
Yeah. I'm drinking the Solar Squeeze.
Solar Squeeze?
Yes. This what's that? New England IPA. Hazy. Super citrusy. Mm-hmm. It is fantastic. And from coming here last night, I learned this is a nice fresh beer.
We just released that beer yesterday, and we have several. We released it yesterday. We have some kegs in the for the tap room, but we already sold out all of the kegs for distribution allotment. And I think Patrick told me he at 1 o'clock, put that on sale last week, pre-sale, and it sold out by 6 o'clock.
Wow.
So that one's a popular one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you just released this yesterday,
Yeah.
am I possibly the first person to drink this out of the tap room?
I think that might be yes.
Yeah.
No. I feel. I forget the fellow's name over there. He
Okay.
ordered it.
There-
So you're
there-
the second person to have it.
Okay. I'll. That's fine with me.
You're number
good.
2.
You're number 2. Although I think we usually put on tap, we usually just test a little ounce just to make sure it's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
From your lips to your lips. That's what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is a fantastic. If you're into the hazies
Who's not?
and super citrusy stuff,
I
this beer is where it's at.
I find
Yeah.
with hazies, I think maybe people get a little tired of hearing people talk about them, but I don't know I don't know anybody who doesn't. I've never met anybody that doesn't like them. As far as they're
Have you met Vince from Brash?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a big hazy
Not a-
IPA fan,
not a-
but I think he's also what he doesn't like is all the hype around them because he just wants to brew his classic IPAs and
Yeah.
just people are like, oh, when are you gonna brew a hazy? And he's just like, I want to brew hazy.
right. No, I get that, but I'm saying to try it. It's how
Yeah.
do you
To
super
be
citrus?
fair, he's come over and tried ours and liked them, but
Yeah. So there you go.
yeah, I have met people who are just and you especially meet in California, old school West Coast IPA brewers who are just kind of they can't get they think that like the haze is attributed with like process issues, like that you didn't properly fine your beer, you didn't filter your beer, you kind of like just stopped early. So like a West Coast IPA that you didn't get clear would have just been a sign of like, hey, you didn't complete the process. But the idea of the hazy is you're really reimagining things from the ground up, and you're saying, okay, I'm purposely going to try to do things, and the haze isn't just a lack of filtration, but it's actually contributing to the flavor, or it's a representation of the biofining process where you dry hop within like the first 24, 48 hours. You get additional chemical reactions where the yeast sort of metabolizes elements of the hops, and so you can get like there's like thiols and so forth coming off from the hops, and you get something called thioesterification, which happens when there's active yeast. So that haze is sort of a result where you get these insoluble kind of part hop polyphenol and then part like amino acid pieces. So it's a little bit of plant and a little bit of animal, so or a little bit of fungi, if the yeast is from proteins from the yeast, sorry, and or the grain actually. So but they combine these two, and then you kind of get that kind of stays in suspension that because and it doesn't crash out, and then kind of becomes hazy. So it also has new flavors, and that haze is sort of a representation of that. So if you get a hazy IPA, sometimes you'll see in the home brewer forums and perhaps even professional brewers who they want to look hazy, so they'll add like flour, because flour will make it hazy. It'll make any beer really, really hazy. You can take like a Budweiser, add flour to look hazy, but that's not a representation of like
somewhere there's a Budweiser exec listening.
Yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, hazy bud.
Hazy bud. So that's this is something I've always wondered about the hazy beer. Like, can you get this if you could get the same flavor from the beer with it not being hazy?
You could get something pretty close to it,
Yeah.
but the haziness, like, it's really representative of the biotransformation, and that I would argue is a new flavor thing. It's a component, like anything. It's not like 100% of the flavor; it's a piece of it. But yeah, if you didn't have the biotransformation, it wouldn't be as hazy. Now that's the thing. The haziness doesn't mean it had biotransformation. The biotransformation, it means it's more like going to be more hazy. So that's what I'm saying. If you add the flour and you make it hazy, it's not going to change the flavor. It's just an aesthetic thing.
Yeah.
Cool if you like it, how it looks, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to make it taste different. It's going to be a little bit more flowery.
Yeah.
Which is
what is it, just straight flour? Just like AP flour?
Yeah, so I mean flour adds a lot of proteins into it. So it depends on if they added flour into the mash, I could see it theoretically doing something. But if you add the flour like after you when you dry after you dry hop and you're like, oh, I'm going to finish this, I'm going to add some flour to it, then the flour is not going to do too much. If you add it early on, then the flour will do stuff. We add flaked wheat to it. We do want that like flour.
Well, that's flour is just ground up.
Yeah, it's just ground up. It's just like little bits and stuff like that. So we do want the protein in there, but we want it to be like in suspension because of the biotransformation, not just because it's like little bits of ground up flour that are just going to be in suspension for the sake of that.
Yeah.
So
okay, did you get all that, Kennedy, for your next homebrew?
Yeah. So next time I brew a hazy,
yeah,
and it's not too hazy,
you just add flour.
I'll just add flour, and I won't tell anybody.
Antique it, just boom, just like you remember that on what was it, Jackass? They would antique people.
Yeah.
Somebody sleeping on the couch, just boom, hit him with a big old thing of flour.
Yeah.
Boom. All right.
That was one of the nicer things they did on that show, though.
Yeah. Hey, Brendan's watching.
Yeah.
And hey, Jules. Let's see. Oh, I saw Ed. Hey, Ed. My Uncle Ed's watching. And Alan's watching.
Yeah.
And
Josh Stewart just joined.
Did I? Oh, yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
And hey, John from Fortress. He's watching.
Yeah.
And who else did I see? Brock and Jeffrey. Jeffrey's watching. Jeffrey, if you got any super in-depth questions. Jeffrey's a bit mad scientist as well.
Yeah.
I say as well because I assume there's a little mad scientist in you.
Oh, we do have a question about your hazies. What's your hop schedule?
So we add
when do you put it in fermentation?
So okay, you want cold side hop. We add hops in the whirlpool, but that's hot side, and then we add hops usually about 48 hours. So like 24 hours after like fermentation picks up, which is really about 48 hours after we collect all the sweet wort and then pitch the yeast. And so that we do. So we add about half of our dry hopping allotment there, and then we add the other half after we pass our diacetyl rest.
Okay.
So forced diacetyl rest sort of represents the termination of fermentation. The yeast at that point has cleaned up all the byproducts, including diacetyl. That's sort of a marker for these sort of other metabolites that eventually the yeast will clean up. So once those go away, you do forced diacetyl. So there's no more diacetyl left. The yeast is done fermenting. You add your second round of hops, and so the first round you're trying to go for like you're trying to get these like reactions to occur, but you're going to lose a lot of like aromatics and things that are kind of volatile. The second round, you're not going to be yeast isn't active anymore, so there's not going to be really any positive outgassing. So you can add the yeast and then close the fermenter off, so there's no more gases that can escape. So that way you lock everything in. So the second half are for the aromatics.
Do they get reabsorbed into the beer?
Yeah. So you don't want to close off your blow off arm while it's actually fermenting. So once you pass your distillation, you say, hey, there's no more blow off. I don't have to create a bomb. Exactly. I mean, you have a PRV or pressure release valve, but you never want that to go off. If that goes off, you really messed up bad. Yeah. And that feels like because that failed, you can still blow the, you don't want to risk.
Oh, I watched Chernobyl. I know exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to rely on the PRV. That's just a last resort kind of thing. So yeah, we add the hops and then we close the blow off arm for the second round. So you're kind of getting different things from the different hops, and basically every hazy beer we do is always double dry hops. This is what when people talk about double dry hopping. This is what they mean. They mean a biotransform and then a more traditional dry, like post fermentation dry hop. If we're doing a West Coast IPA, we want to be cleaner. We would not add the biotransform. We would add all the hops at that sort of that post fermentation stage, and then do a single dry hop. To get a cleaner beer.
Always pellets, or do you ever go whole cone?
We always do pellets. Yeah, it just makes life a lot easier. And we use a hop doser, so we have something on top of the fermenter. It's kind of like a airlock chamber, so you have like the fermenter is closed with a valve, and then you have this like little vessel that sits above it. You can add the hops to it, seal that, and then push CO2 in, bleed it off, like kind of cycle out to kind of push out all the oxygen and replace all the CO2, and then you can open sort of the valve between this chamber and your FV, and then drop the hops in, and that way you're introducing hops but less oxygen. There's always gonna be a little bit of oxygen kind of stuck in the pellets, but at least you can minimize the amount of oxygen you bring in.
Like the space shuttle.
Yeah, it's like just like an airlock. Basically, it functions like an airlock. Just that way we can purge out oxygen.
Is there ever an advantage to whole cone hops? Like I feel like there was a time when it was people loved to use them because
they
that's
absorb
what they did.
So much liquid. You just lose so much product using them. Yeah. You can use they have sort of some use in things like hop backs because they if you're trying to filter them, like the little pellet hops really clog up filters, whereas those big leafy hops you can kind of use more effectively with filters. Yeah. So if you're using things like a hop back and other things, but we just found like pellet and whirlpool, like adding pellets to the whirlpool and then just whirlpooling to make a cone and then just siphoning off works so much better. Yeah. Like leaf hops can really muck up your heat X, so you don't want to use them on the hot side. Yeah. The one time you will use them, I will say, is if you're doing wet hopping.
I was gonna ask.
But that's not because just because you can't have processed, fresh hops. Like the processing is the fresh and processed are the opposite.
Yeah.
So,
could you even press a wet hop into a pellet without it just being mushy?
No. So the process of making pellets requires you to go through an oast. An oast is sort of some device or really a building that dries out the hops. Yeah. And so that's processing it. So the whole point of fresh hops is say, hey, let's skip the oast and just go directly in here. If you the problem with the fresh hops is you have to use them so quickly because if you don't dry them out real quick, they'll go bad. Like any kind of food, you're gonna dry it out or that's gonna go bad. So you got a very limited window of typically 24 to 48 hours post-harvest to add them. So, we did a collaboration with John Holler and we did, and True Anomaly, and we did a wet hop saison, but we had to get it FedExed from the farm in Oregon, and, one of the boxes didn't arrive, and it's always the challenge because once the box arrives late, you can't use it because you need the hops that day. So you're like brewing, hoping these hops will arrive the day you're brewing. And
yeah, that's when there should be a brewing reality show.
Yeah.
And they always do the high tension kind of thing. Because that's legit high tension moments. Like, is this going to get here? Because they always build that stuff up on those reality shows.
You sort of see, exactly. Pull you aside. Did you think the hops were going to get there? Like, oh, man, I didn't know.
It's funny on those reality shows where you have people talking about the thing that's supposed to be happening right then.
Right. There might be a producer involved.
Maybe.
They can edit those things to make people be like the biggest assholes or the nicest people in the world.
And then you just have the producers just telling you what to say. Like, hey, you should be really mean to this person. You're like, I don't want to be like, no, you're going to be mean. You're like, okay. And then like, oh, they're mean. So, yeah, same with the hops. You could be like the guy's like paying the FedEx guy to like, why don't you just be like a half hour late, okay? And then see what these brewers do.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. The shenanigans, producer shenanigans. Brendan, I'm scrolling through the feed so I can see silly comments like yours.
Yeah,
that's why. I'm trying to make sure people are listening real time. So I'm trying to get all the all the juicy comments and
Are you
questions.
trolling your own show on
Who,
the
me?
comments?
No. Brendan
I'm-
was saying that I was nodding and scrolling, which I am, but I can listen. I'm a professional. I can.
Yeah.
I think we can all do this now.
I'm-
It's like listening and reading and.
I'm being a producer,
I see.
and I'm
Giving him notes.
yeah. No, every once in a while, someone will ask questions.
I see. You should
So
text
we-
him on his phone. Tell him
we-
not to be on his phone.
Yeah,
That's the only way I'm going to see
Yeah.
it. My wife has to do that every once in a while.
We
It's like,
we
pay
haven't.
attention to what was going on. Your children are growing up in front of you.
Yeah.
You're missing it.
I mean, we have an interactive show, so
Right.
we like to involve.
Someone needs to be interacting.
yeah, we need
Yeah.
to involve the viewers and
That's
stuff.
good.
So
Good.
yeah,
Are there any questions? Any
yeah.
more
So I'm not
questions?
technic. I guess kind of I'm trolling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
We had something about an air guitar. That's not.
yeah. This is a good
I
science
don't
question. This is
play
a
the
good
air
science
guitar.
question.
It's a little too.
So yeah, we have an air guitarist who watches us.
Professional.
Professional.
He was number 2 in the nation. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh, it's like he has to like. It's sort of like lip syncing, but you have to like
guitar
or-
syncing.
Yeah.
guitar syncing. to
Yeah.
some
Yes,
actual
but they have
music.
whole routines
It's-
and
Okay.
Like,
pers-
the costumes are like a
characters
big part
that
of
they
it.
build.
Stuff.
It's
Yeah.
almost like a little bit of pro wrestling.
Would they
a
be
little bit of
imitating like Kiss, or they have their own
Yeah.
novel character? That's
novel characters. It's like
they-
think pro wrestling, but with
guitars
a guitar that's not really
less
there.
violence involved. That's cool.
So he-
Sometimes more.
Okay.
So
Just
he's
depends on the character, I think.
asking if it's possible to rock an air guitar solo in space, even with the absence of air.
Oh well, yeah.
He's
okay.
assuming you know. He said because.
Well, okay.
Astro-
So I mean,
Yeah.
in the space shuttle for sure, because while there's very little air in space, there's definitely air in the space shuttle or in the the space station or whatever.
Right.
People need that to live. So I would assume anywhere that you are breathing and therefore alive, there would be air.
yeah.
So you're maybe a little bubble, a spacesuit around you. You can still air guitar because there be air in your gloves.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you're always enveloped in air and space.
Right.
Otherwise, you're dead.
Or you just wouldn't hear the air guitar, but again, does an air guitar make any noise anyway?
I don't.
I don't think so.
I mean, very little.
Yeah, but in the vacuum of space,
Less.
less.
Less than little.
Yeah. So there you go.
Good.
Deep.
Well, if you're in the vacuum of space, there's no sound anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Very little. Again, there's never a true vacuum, so there's never going to be zero sound, but it's going to be real little
Yeah.
to the
Right.
point where it's basically zero.
Yeah.
So one John O'Hara of Fortress Beer Works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, up in Spring.
Way up there.
Big fan of your logo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Which logo are we? So you sort of like two of our. We sort of have like three
I
logos.
technically, yeah. The kicking the can is my favorite.
Yeah, that's
out of
like
all.
our go-to. We
Yeah.
sort of use there's this rocket ship we have.
Yeah.
That's sort of like our. It's good in small format. That's what we put on like labels and kind of like the official logo. But then these other ones are more like fun, for T-shirts, for like merch and stuff like that. We have kind
Right.
of like a number of other kind of alternative
And,
views.
and I do have the guy popping out of our logo.
Oh, nice. Oh,
There
that's
you
good.
go.
See, that's production values right there. See, you guys.
Yeah. It's that's all Kennedy.
Yeah,
I'm just here to be the face.
we have
I'm,
a professional here.
Yeah, I've worked in television for many years. So.
Right. Oh, you were telling me. Yeah, you work at
That's what I bring to the table.
Table. That's
Yeah.
why they pay you
not
those
so
big
much
bucks.
not so much beer knowledge, not so much personality.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Technical prowess.
Yeah, and that's it.
You're
Yeah.
the brains behind the operation.
Well,
Well-
I don't really say there's a lot of brains behind this operation.
yeah, okay.
No offense, Josh.
None taken, I don't think. Not smart enough to pick up on if that was supposed to be a slight.
Yeah. You're just gonna let. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he might. It's not that I can't pick up on it. I just assume he's talking about himself. It's just super. It's where my arrogance protects me.
Gotcha.
He's surely not talking about me.
Gotcha.
It helps. It guards me from many a.
So you're so used to talking about yourself, you just assume everyone else is talking about themselves.
Yes.
That's the world just
There's
involves people
something-
talking about themselves.
It's a weird
Uh-oh.
thing, like on a podcast, like
Yeah.
radio people and whatever. So a lot of people hear their own voice and they're like, oh, I don't. It's a weird thing to hear yourself,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
outside coming in, and people don't like it. I have whatever. It didn't say this in my DNA test, but the gene to like the sound of my own voice.
Oh.
Like, oh man, that sounds.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the former category. I don't like because I don't sound like what I hear is not
Right.
what I'm hearing like through like the headphones, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like I sound like that, and it's like I sound way cooler in my head, but that's okay.
Yeah, the thoughts in my head sound awesome, and when
Yeah.
they come out,
They sound
not so much.
It's okay though.
Yeah,
doesn't really matter.
I don't know what it is. It's like maybe I can tolerate it now. Maybe it's like a lupulin threshold shift.
Yeah.
You know, like you hear it enough, and eventually you're like, all right, that's just how I sound.
No, I definitely would not make a good radio or TV personality.
I don't know. I think you.
The voice. No, but I think to be a really good one, you have to have something to say, but also have a good voice. If you have a horrible, screechy voice, no, it doesn't matter how smart you are. Go to a newspaper and start writing. You know.
Maybe I don't know. There's a quality where people get. Well, I think people just need familiarity. Yeah, some people can maybe somebody has just the worst sounding voice ever, and it sounds like a cat being.
You would agree though, some radio voices are more. Oh yeah, that person really sucks me in.
Yeah,
like, more soothing or what have you.
Yeah, just like some people are more apt to do runway modeling or hand modeling.
Right, let's be real here.
Yeah, I mean, like me.
Yes,
exactly.
Like,
let's be real here. Runway model.
I mean,
the three of us.
Runway
model.
Obviously. Yeah, even John says, I'm saying I bring the technical skills to the table for the show. He said I also bring the beauty.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the eye of
the beer holder.
The more beers. Oh, speaking of people that may or may not find you attractive based on predisposed biological whatever, happy birthday to your dad.
Oh yeah,
my
dad turned 70 today.
Awesome, happy birthday, Mr. Kennedy. Where are they still over in?
He is. Yeah, they are in Andorra.
Andorra, kicking it Andorra style.
Is that a small country in Europe?
It is. It's like a small municipality between France and Spain, right there on the border in the Pyrenees Mountains.
Are you familiar with The Onion?
The Onion?
Yeah, the
yes.
So one of my favorite Onion headlines is, White House surprised to learn that Andorra not a small country in Africa, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah. So my dad, it snowed last week, and my dad sent me this picture, and they still use phone booths there, which is weird.
Yeah.
But on top of this phone booth was about 4 feet of snow.
So it's in the mountains.
Yeah,
right? So Pyrenees. So
it's in the Pyrenees Mountains. So
Andorra gets its own country, but the Basque people don't.
Yeah. Let's work all that. Let's work through that real quick.
So if any Basque people are listening right now, voice your opinions in the comments.
They have good cider there. They have,
okay,
like their own style.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was on a cider kick I did a lot of reading. They have their own there's the Spanish style of cider, but the Basque is even its own not even subgenre. It might be where all the Spanish cider comes from.
We've had around Christmas time we had Andorra beer on the show. Yeah.
So what is that? Is that just like kind of macro lager, kind of like Stella?
Well,
thing?
what it ended up being is there's a guy in town, and I guess he runs like a bottle shop.
Okay.
And I think he just brews his own beer.
Okay.
And I guess they can sell it. Like they don't have the same restrictions we do. So he basically
GABC license.
Well, yeah. I mean, he doesn't. It's not Texas.
Okay. Oh, this was in. Oh,
in Andorra.
Oh,
so,
yeah, Andorra.
It would be the AABC.
Yeah. So he brews his beer and he sells it.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. There's no laws in Andorra apparently. Yeah. Okay, that makes. So what was it? What style?
What do we have? I don't know. You drank it. You drank the same beer as I did.
Was that the?
Try to put on him.
Yeah. Was that the with the owl?
No, it was like the Three Wise Men.
Oh, that's right. There was 3 different beers. And
right.
It was what was the one with the owl? That was the cider.
Yeah. Oh, the owl was that was the Berliner Weiss from Berlin.
Oh, okay.
But it had like the natural yeast and stuff.
I want to say the 3 Wise Men were kind of.
That was really good.
I think they were like Belgian inspired.
Okay.
Styles. I have a prediction that this year will be the year of traditional Belgian, like that style. Those styles will kind of have a resurgence, and I've been pointing that out anytime I see one being brewed on a show that I do to prove my point. Not that it's actual, sales or anything like that. No numbers, but
I feel like that style was much more popular about 15 years ago. And then
that's what
IPAs kind of really dominated, and there's been, for me, what I've seen a push towards in the last few years is traditional German, like continental lagers.
Yeah.
Specifically, like really Pilsners and Helles to a little lesser degree. I don't think the double box are quite going strong yet, but that's where I've seen it. But, that doesn't mean that next year we'll have a different trend. And
right.
I mean, ultimately what's going to happen is everyone's going to be brewing just White Claw all the time, hard seltzer. So.
What do you think? Do you think that's going to stick? I mean, it'll stick around, but I think it's got a ceiling of, what can you do with it eventually?
It's hard to tell. It's a generational thing, and our generation isn't necessarily the ones en masse picking up White Claw. It's the younger generation that are more calorie conscious is what the the marketers at least claim that, and then research people do all this. They say, okay, White Claw is great because it doesn't taste like beer and it's low calorie, and that the younger generation's looking for alternatives. My understanding is that the younger generation also is just drinking less than the younger generation. So White Claws is the more they can drink less and also have it.
That's
be
a
more
defeatist attitude.
drinking. People are still going to be drinking. Drinking
Yeah.
less just means that like if you're Budweiser cares about these things, so they're like they're the people that are diversifying. They're like, okay, we got to find different products to address these trends. They're so big, they're not going to just give up. They're going to be like, okay, well, if you're not going to be buying Bud Light, what can we sell you that you'll be buying?
My piece of wisdom I would pass along to the calorie conscious generation. I mean, sure, calories to a point are good, but the whole like intermittent fasting, timed eating kind of thing I think has a way bigger impact. At least from what I've experienced personally. So I don't pull back calorie wise. I just make sure I'm eating within like an 8-hour window. It doesn't even have to be that big of a deal when you think of like 8 hours. That's a day.
Yeah, I do that just because I forget to eat breakfast. Well, I never eat breakfast, and I forget to eat lunch half the time. So I default do that.
Yeah, but it has a huge impact. So all this, we're spending a lot of time on, I don't know, gimmicks and not just, I don't know, like drink the beer, but just do it within a certain range of the day. And I think if you just stay, all right, after a certain point, that's it.
Also, just exercise, I recommend.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be that much.
No, it's like half an hour a day or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
just take a walk or pick up something heavy a few times or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that big. I think we're marketing. It's all there's the marketers. They want you to buy all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like a society where more people can either walk or bike to work, and putting in, even like old cities, you can't just have everyone move, but you can put in more bike lanes and make it more attractive to bike. That's the way you can get exercise. You can just keep your routine, drink your beer, and just get your exercise in without having to go to the gym. You just bike to work or walk to work or whatever, kind of thing. But you need infrastructure for that. And cities on the West Coast are oftentimes a little better set up for that. But Texas is slowly getting there. Austin's a little better. Certain neighborhoods in Houston are getting there. But,
right.
Yeah. So Julie and I dusted off our bikes and we took a bike ride to Walking Stick.
Yeah,
on Tuesday.
biking to breweries is a great thing because you can exercise to burn those calories you're about to drink, and you're not going to be risking harming others with your drunk self and hitting them.
And I got a flat tire.
Well,
on the way.
You got to dust your bike off and then maintain.
Yeah,
I got bought out, right?
Walking Stick?
No, flat tire.
Flat tire?
Yeah, they got bought out.
Fat tire.
Fat tire.
New Belgium.
I get it. Yeah.
Are they Asahi?
I think so, yeah.
Asahi bought them?
I think so. Yeah, which is...
So all your flat tires, go blame Asahi.
that one hurts a little bit.
Well,
I mean, I get it. I see it. I understand. I get all that.
They've put a lot of work together, and it was like it was time for them to like retire or step back from the business, and if you're not going to be involved anymore, I think they deserve to get paid if that's their choice. I mean, they don't. Broad's not selling St. Arnold, and I also respect that too. So.
Yeah, but what's the next generation plan there?
Yeah,
you'd have to pick his brain, right?
I'm not personally friends with him. I don't know his business plans. I don't think he's about to share them with me. But
it's an interesting thing. Like, and it's not like a moral thing that you can only do it one way or the other. Mm-hmm. It's just what's going to work best. Do they want to keep it in the family? Does he have somebody else? Whatever. It's a thing. Like hopefully. And
you never know. Maybe that the kids or whatever, the other people that could use that equity to pursue some other project they're more passionate about.
Yeah.
The older generation said beer is our thing, but the younger generation says I want to do this other thing.
Yeah.
And who's to say that's a worse endeavor than beer? Especially if they're I mean, it's one thing if you just take the money and live your life of luxury. Okay, that's your choice. But if you do something with it and create something new, then I really respect that because you just following your passions or letting the next generation follow their passions kind of thing.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into like the story of the Guinness family?
I have not.
That's worth a look. It's amazing. Like Arthur Guinness, his dad was a brewer, and then John Wesley was his godfather, the founder of the Methodist Church. And so Arthur Guinness, who founded Guinness Brewing, his son and I think his all of them were kind of connected to the company, but eventually, like 3 generations out, they were doing more philanthropic work, and they paid for all the soldiers and families like homes during World War I.
Oh, interesting.
In Ireland, and they did it was amazing work. A lot of research that went into like medical care and things like that over in Ireland. They did a bunch, and they got there was still some involvement in the brewing, but that huge empire of a brewery allowed them to do a lot, to branch out to a lot more. So
I'm hoping that's kind of what happened with the Bill Gates kind of family. It sort of seems that he's sort of stepping back from the Microsoft and kind of doing this thing where he's trying to follow philanthropic things, and the kids may bring involved in that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so it's good to see big people follow those kinds of no more noble. They earn the money, they sell out, but then they do something with it.
Yeah, and it's Bill Gates. That's a cool story because it's like he changed a lot of people's lives with his product.
Right.
It's like well, how much has Windows changed business from day to day and allowing a lot of people to do cool stuff, even like breweries and things like that, in different ways. But now they're helping out.
Yeah, he was sort of almost like a very ruthless business person. But then once he had the money, he realized he doesn't want to be a ruthless, billionaire that just ruins people's lives. He's like, okay, I'm gonna, malaria has been a very big initiative of his, and other kind of diseases that oftentimes have less exposure, so they don't get like big farmers not going after them, and they need someone like Bill Gates to put a lot of money behind it to help out, because they're not going to get a lot of money selling these products or these treatments to people in places like Sub-Saharan Africa and in Southeast Asia and places like that. So he's done really good stuff. So I appreciate him.
Yeah,
hasn't started a brewery yet though, so that would be cool. I feel like he could just be like, oh, I'll just like start a brewery in my hometown, like for 0.001% of my value.
Right.
I'm using his product right now.
Yeah.
There you go. Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Windows?
Nice.
I thought you were going to say you're using a Zune to record it or something like that.
No, Windows.
We're in need of some new equipment. It turns out.
Just like this circa 2008 Zune is running this whole show.
Yeah, we're right on that. The whole thing's about to crash down because actually, this laptop's like 10 years old.
Oh yeah.
So
hey, if it still works, it still works.
Still works.
People used to have to buy new laptops every 2 years, and now you can get.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I remember.
Which is
like 15 years ago.
It's been a big problem for these companies that make these laptops because the consumers aren't buying new laptops, and everyone buys phones now every 2 years.
Yeah, they should have gone into beer, 16 ounces, and you're ready for another one or whatever it is. It's
consumable computers. You just eat the computer, it tells you a few things, and then
that's what they need.
Intel.
Mm-hmm.
Intel inside.
Little robots.
Yeah, we need some
Intel beer inside.
Well, okay, so the 1 year celebration coming up in just weeks. What do you see for year two? What was your favorite part of year one? I'm sure it's been so busy.
So I think for me, it's always been sort of putting together the recipes and then seeing the product, and that's the most rewarding part is the brewer. Running the business is in fact most of the time, but you do all that work so that you can then spend a few minutes doing recipe development and seeing the progression. I think seeing our beers. I think they started out pretty reasonably, but I think they've like really come together. We've sort of narrowed in, and we're much better at having a recipe that we have a vision, developing a recipe, and then hitting the vision. Whereas initially it was like, okay, our vision didn't quite align with how it turned out, but we've sort of dialed things in, and sort of that process of like feedback and little tweaks here. Nothing major, just lots of little tweaks. And we're able to really this batch of solar squeeze. We've had solar squeeze from I think our second week we were open. We had a batch of solar squeeze, but this is like the dialed in version where this is what we were trying to make from the beginning, and now it's like executed. And this is like the real version, or not real version, the version that we had in our heads, in the glass now and stuff like that. And then ability to make like a new recipe. We had like Psychonaut that came out like a month ago, I want to say, and that was super popular. We brewed that a couple weeks ago. We're bringing that back. So this ability to come up with recipes and okay, they just work now. That's been really, really rewarding. And then all the work you have to do is on the business side, paying bills, deciding how to spend your money, kind of thing. That's necessary, but that's not as fun. But you have to do it. It's part of the job.
Yeah. Is there a style maybe for year two that you didn't get around to in year one that you're excited to tackle or take a look at?
I would definitely say like Pilsners. That's what I really want. Like year two, want to get a nice crispy Northern German Pilsner on the top. That would say yes. And we didn't do on year one because it was daunting. We wanted to, like being a little bit off on vision on an IPA, you still have a fine beer. It's like, okay, it's hoppy, it's got all the notes. It's not quite what I wanted, but it's still fine. But like on a Pilsner, you get off a little bit, you're like, well, I don't want this.
Yeah.
You really got to hit where you mean to hit. So
I just said crispy. I like crispy, snappy. Those are my two.
Yeah, I like crispy. I want some actual hop character. Like if you use like Saaz or Tettinger or whatever hops in there, I want to actually be able to taste them. Not so much that it's like a IPA hop bomb, but just like, okay, it should be like a nice noble hop, a crispiness and like a nice noble hop like character in there.
Yeah.
Like a Hans Pils.
I love my Hans Pils.
Yeah, I remembered that.
Yeah. I think Hans Pils is, for local things you get in the grocery store, I think Hans Pils is probably my favorite Pilsner you can get in
It's
Texas.
good.
Live Oak, maybe honorable mention.
Yes,
Live Oak Gold specifically. Live Oak Gold's my over the regular release. The Live Oak Gold is
the pills, just
the Pils. Yeah, I think Live Oak Gold is like it's more northern German, and so it's a little crispier.
Yeah,
so
I would love to do just a Pilsner, like Pilsner off, just to see like blind tasting to see.
Yeah, get some like German Pilsners in there too.
Yeah,
and the question I always have with German Pilsners is because I haven't been to Germany, I haven't like people are like, oh, they're so good there. Things that come to America, especially like the German breweries, they're very big breweries, and they probably sit in warehouses. A lot of things come through. They sit in like distribution warehouses in New Jersey in the summer, and then there's months before then they send them out to the various places. And so I think they're kind of older, and I don't know if they either use the exact same recipes and they just get a little stale, or maybe they actually brew them slightly differently, knowing that they're going to be, not going fresh to taps, but they're going to be sitting around for a while. Yeah. But I'm just kind of always curious, if you go to Germany, I'd like to almost like take a bottle of like store-bought, whatever, Weihenstephan or Pilsner, and go into Germany and like trying it against on the tap, fresh. Yeah. Like, what is the difference there? But that's sort of like an educational thing. I'm really curious about, like, are the versions we're getting of German Pilsners really representative of the style, or they're, at least in my opinion, subtle, but in my opinion, large differences in terms of, malt character, oxidation, things like that.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody should invest in doing a brewery in a container ship, and then just brew on the way over here.
Yeah.
Into port, fresh beer.
I mean, what you really want to do is just open a brewery in the United States. But you
can do that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's harder to get people to. I think what has the Heineken, right? They opened the brewery in Canada. That way, it's still imported to the United States, and they say imported.
Yeah.
But imported from Canada. But they're a multinational kind of company, so they open things up.
That is Sammy, not Kennedy. Like, I sometimes want to get licked during the show.
No,
no.
It is Kennedy.
I'm not brushing up against your leg.
No, she gave me a good lick.
She comes by and does looking. Yeah, she decides she wants a little attention right now. She was pretty chill before.
Yeah, that's all good. I'm glad she warmed up. It's a cool day.
She's not near as annoying as Josh's dogs.
What are you talking about? My dogs are.
She does drive by.
Okay.
Yeah, she does drive by lickings when she's happy, and she's like goes for the exposed skin. You get like that. You had like the wrist exposed, and that's like prime licking. Or if you if ankles, if you have like if you have like shorts on or something like that, go for those ankles.
Look cool for bare ankles today.
Yeah,
but it'll be warmer tomorrow.
Yeah, my feet are kind of cold.
Are they? Maybe do a poor circulation.
Well, I wore small socks today.
You didn't come equipped.
No,
I didn't.
We don't turn the heat on here when there's no patrons, and
that's cool.
We keep it on the production side because we need to keep the fermenters warming up so they don't get too cold before they're done fermenting. But there's no fermenters over here, so we don't need to keep the heat on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have them jacketed because it's mostly hot.
Right. So normally you have the ability to force cool them with the glycol, but I don't have the ability to force heat them, so I have to just rely on like ambient heater. But we have like a natural gas heater over there. It's very, natural gas is cheap right now, much cheaper than heating with electricity. So so we do.
Boom. There you go. Natural gas.
Yeah.
It's brought to you by nature.
Yep.
And the gas company. All right. Well, Alex, we don't want to keep. We know that you have a busy day ahead. We got to open up at 4:00. We got to let everybody in to drink the delicious beers. And you got
trivia night tonight.
Trivia night tonight, and then this weekend we're having a vegan festival, a vegan burger festival, Saturday and Sunday. It looks like Saturday's gonna be a little better weather if you have a choice. I come Saturday from 11 until 6 o'clock, and it's gonna be like 4 different vegan vendors plus some other people. It should be a pretty fun time. I would Uber if you're gonna come though.
Yeah. I'm gonna play a little music in the background for the next 3 minutes. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's what you were saying before. Parking might be a little sketchy.
Parking might be tough Saturday and Sunday. So if you have the ability to bike or Uber or walk, I would do that, or at least carpool.
Yeah, or go to Kennedy's and he'll give you a pump.
Well, I'll be
down.
working, but
he'll let you borrow his bike.
If I could, I would ride my bike here.
Okay.
We just put your bike out and let somebody borrow it.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Leave it here. You can swing by and get it.
Yeah, just put a note on it saying, "Please return my bike."
And then when I get off work at 11 o'clock and I drive home, I'll just stop out in the front because I'm sure it'll be still be sitting there.
Definitely. If you put a sticky note on it, I don't see what would go wrong.
Yeah, who would do that? When I went to DC, they had bike lockers. You could just rent a bike or one of those scooters.
Yeah. Well, do you mean like they had like like you have a card you'd swipe or whatever?
Yeah.
An app. We're using an app. You'd and then you'd unlock a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a locker, and it'd pull it out.
Yeah.
And you'd see people riding them around.
Lots of cities that aren't Houston have, like Austin, I think has versions of. They have the scooters in Austin.
Lime or whatever they're called.
You can literally just drop the scooter anywhere you want.
People did that. I was like,
you're done with it. Just let it go.
I think the problem was that, like, in Denver, there were lots of places people just drop them in the middle of the sidewalk and then start cluttering up. And like Denver has, like, I was there for GABF, and there was like 4 or 5 different companies all doing this. So like finding the right scooter company to match your whatever, it was just.
Yeah,
it got overboard. It's like they need some regulation, need some rules here.
Something, just don't drop it. Like, if I have to yell at you like I yell at my, a 6-year-old, it's like, pick up your stuff.
Yeah,
get out of the middle
floor. You get to a shop, you're like, oh, okay, I'm done, and just like drop it here, and you're like, okay, someone like with a wheelchair is gonna come by and just like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna move your scooter for you?
Yeah, one of our Uber drivers said that the kids in DC were just throwing them all in the Potomac.
Great.
Yeah.
Like, they'd have to go fish out like 15 scooters.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yep.
Kids these days with their darn scooters.
Throwing them in the river.
How
dare you?
I thought that riding the scooters around Austin was pretty fun.
Oh, I'm sure it's fun. It's just really dangerous because you don't have a helmet.
Yeah.
And
No, I
you
didn't have
leave
a
them.
helmet.
So there's like 2 major problems: dangerous and you leave them places.
And
But other than that, they're great.
Right, and probably not as skilled as you think you are.
Right.
And we
Right.
took
No.
this
I
curb.
didn't fall, which is yeah.
But you get like,
There's
let's be
that.
real here. You get people who get drunk, never ridden a scooter,
Yeah.
think it's a great idea, no helmet, and then there's accidents.
Oh, I'm sure there's accidents every day there.
In theory, with regulation, it could be a good thing, but I don't think just like
And
let
enough
them-
bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Well, and plus, these
Let
people,
Darwin take the wheel here is the right strategy.
yeah, these people not really knowing how to ride a scooter, trying to like weave in and out of like pedestrian traffic.
Yeah, and that's the other thing they don't understand, right? That are you a pedestrian or are you a car? And they kind of act like both, and then like people don't really understand how to deal with it. There's no rules about it.
Yeah, it's total anarchy.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna clothesline.
Yeah.
You're gonna run up against a pro wrestler and just get boom.
So that's our complaint of the day. It's kids on scooters drinking White Claws.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just ruining this world.
Back in my day, we would
Yeah.
drink beers and get behind the
wheel, yeah,
like a responsible.
Yeah, exactly. 4 wheels and real beer.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're way better.
All right. Well, Alex, thank you so much for doing our
thanks a lot,
show
man.
today. Good job, Kennedy. Thank you, everybody who watched today. Awesome job with the comments, and come to Astral and try some delicious beers and hang out. It's year 2 is about to start, so come be a part.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hooray for beer!